Explanation of RP, the main concepts. Vision formation is a long series of proteins that work in concert to affect an electrical signal, and eventually, joining into the optic nerve, and carried to the brain for interpretation. If any protein is incorrectly coded, it can cause that pathway to eventually fail at any point along its journey. RP is a disease of DNA miscoding being passed from generation to generation. There are also spontaneous miscodings that rarely happen because of chemicals, radiation, or a mistake during ongoing DNA formation in the cell nucleus, etc. The retina has several layers. The main layers are the photoreceptor layer and its underlying retinal pigmented epithelium layer. Think of the retina as a bullseye target with rings. The outer ring is almost entirely rods. As you move into the central rings, cones are intermingled with the rods. Until you reach the innermost ring, the macula, which gives us the greatest central vision. That is the area of our eye that gives us the best visual acuity and detection of fine movement. And because the macula and the fovea are almost entirely cones, that is why in RP, we are still able to have color detection and somewhat preserved vision until they are the last to fail due to overwhelming failure of the RPE. The RPE retinal pigmented epithelium layer is extremely important in its function to supply nutrition to the retina and carry away waste from the highly metabolically active rods and cones. The RPE has finger-like projections that extend from the surface of the RPE cell into and around the rods and cones to help maintain an environment to feed, protect and remove waste. The RPE also makes certain proteins necessary for vision. Each RPE cell also contains hundreds of granules of a pigment called melanin. These pigmented cells help prevent the rods and cones from being overstimulated by the light entering the eye. The melanin absorbs the excess light and prevents light scatter, all of which would white out the retina if not dampened by the melanin in the RPE cells. The melanin also absorbs damaging UV light. In RP, the waste removal done by the RPE can be overwhelmed by the rods dying off and damaging the RPE in the process of trying to remove the resulting waste. This damage results in the RPE cells rupturing and spilling their melanin pigments into the surrounding retinal layers. This is what causes the darkened splotches or spots on the retina that is diagnostic of RP. Also, the rods secrete a neuroprotective substance that coats the nearby cones. So that, when the rods die, the nearby cones also die. And add to the workload of the RPE to remove the waste, leading to more of the RPE cells rupturing, spilling their melanin also. After much of the RPE is destroyed, it is no longer able to keep up nourishing the remaining rods and cones. So that, more and more rods die, mostly the rods which are in the highest numbers at the outside circle of the retina. Since the rods give us night vision and our peripheral vision. The early symptoms of RP are loss of night vision and narrowed visual field, tunnel vision. And of course, the appearance of the melanin staining of the retina. These are the three cardinal symptoms of RP. There is much more to this process, depending on the genetic causes. But the end result is almost always the same.